and the End of the World Pizza with giveaway, a little PO app. So we're going to get the wheel going there. We're going to be able to see that here in a minute. But retweet the room and invite some people in. And I'm going to get some live visual going on so you can see the winner on the wheel. And Craig, how are we doing? You just tuned in? How have you been, my friend? How's the last week been?
Hey man, yeah, good. I'm well. It's a sunny Monday here, so it's business as usual for us on this side of the globe. But yeah, thanks for having me, and hello everyone.
Can't wait to dive in deep about the markets because the markets are picking up, which is wonderful to see. And also wonderful to see right now is you have a live wheel spinning up in the top. You can retweet that. That's the Novo verse from Paris Shilton NFT. And we have all the wallet addresses from the POAPs and the
That's right.
which were distributed the last prior to Sundays with myself and Rob and Craig and JRR Token was with us as well. We also had a couple guests, Avery Piper back then. But so normal spinning rules, do we want to do like a general spin to see if it works as a practice, or is it first round? Is that the winner? What do you want to do here, Rob?
I mean, it's going to pick a winner. So if we say like that was practice, then that person who wins the first time is going to feel really like, I won. Oh, wait, I didn't win. What happened? So I feel like we just have to like, I can shuffle it. We can like shuffle the names. I mean, I already did this, but it's like shuffle. But I mean, it's going to pick. So
names are shuffling. Yeah, I say the same thing. I say just let it rip, spin it to win it.
All right, here we go.
This is the winner. It's the first one here that we're doing. And the winning wallet.
There it goes.
All right, there's the winning wallet address. I'm gonna try to grab a frame picture of that as well.
I can actually. I can copy paste it, and then I will be. I don't know who that is, but
I do not either. We could check in the PO. There'll be a PO app later in the show for those of you who are listening. There'll be a PO app that you can claim at around 25 minutes, 26 minutes to be exact. And I was trying to look and see if there is a wallet address attached to it, but that's something I'll look at later. But Rob, I know you've been busy. If you have to bounce or anything at any point, I totally understand. But you can check out the minting, which I went ahead and I did, and I tweeted about it. I'll actually put it up here in the pinned tweets. And I got myself a gold comic book.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
Yes, no, thank you for making cool stuff. And I'm going to find that and pin that up there on the top. And it took all flawless like anything else. At least it was flawless for the execution on my behalf. It's I usually talk to the people who are creating usually when they're a little bit nervous. It's usually the week of minting, they're promoting it. Usually there's some snags in the line, but you seem like you know what you've been doing here with this prime.
Yeah, I do, don't I? Yeah. I mean, there was some last minute stuff that was a little bit crazy. But it worked out, and we've got the sites are working, the redeeming's working. We've got people that have claimed their tokens already and put in their addresses to have the physical shipped. And I've also airdropped to the holder. So Novo, you should see that you got the Mythic Edition too.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so you have both editions because you held a driver, you got the
that's
Mythic Edition automatically. So now you have both. So you're all set.
I did see that. In the Discord. I appreciate it. Thank you. But that's the perks of being a driver and following along and following through with the roadmap. So is it like a good deep breath now that you're finished with this? Is it a deep breath? Is it like what's the overall thought now that you've completed the roadmap and completed the journey? You completed this Web3 journey.
I mean, to me, it's just a step on the roadmap. I think there's still a lot to do. We're going to be doing corrupted driver soon, and the metaverse is going to be launching this week. So that's going to be a new thing, and that's going to be expanding. So the first metaverse iteration is basically it's almost like it's not a gallery. I mean, there's gallery aspects to it, but it's also just kind of like a stage where you can gather together and like talk. And there is a mini game where you can unlock some of the comic book. You can unlock 5 pages for free, so you can test it out. But it still has a lot to go with it because it's like I did it all myself, so I didn't really build out as much as I want to. And that's just with what is currently out. There's like a lot of things I want to do. I want to look into VRM and getting people their drivers wearable in other metaverses and like the interoperability of that. Because right now, like when you go to our metaverse, you can dress up basically as the Accelerator, who's my character, and like the narrator, if you will, of the universe. So you can like skin yourself as the group, but it's not like your individual driver yet, and the cars aren't there yet. So there's still a lot to do.
There's always something you can add towards it, into the gaming aspect, into the comic scanning system, to the full motion and sound that you have created, all within an AR featured that you just use your phone and read along. And it's in the enhancements that is making this the most technologically advanced comic book that I've ever seen, and I've been dealing and collecting comic books for such a long time. Want to say hello to Anita down there, Moss down there as well. Thank you for listening. Feel free to retweet the room. And how the room is actually working is through the mic. You're here. 3 different people I'm on with. Rob Shields, the creator of End of the World Pizza, endoftheworldpizza.com. I'm also on with Craig Coinpurse. Feel free to retweet the room, but you can also watch it live action up top. We just gave away a free comic book for people who had a POAP from last week. There again, I want to say congratulations to the flawlessness of going through the process of fulfilling your roadmap with a cool story, the lore that matches not only the NFTs and the drivers back in the day that we got and collected, but then also there's the physical comic book as well, which is one of the reasons why I was following, because I was a big comic book fan collector.
Yeah, that's for me. Like a lot of the Web3 stuff back then was I was looking for people that were making stuff that I was interested in, like that I would have bought in normal space, or in even on Web2. So I followed some other comic book and video game people, and I'm just happy to have delivered it because there was so many. Like I was actually working on 3 books at once when I agreed, or I was working on 2 other books, and then I was like, okay, I want to do this book, and so then it was 3 books at once, and that got a little bit crazy. But now all those books are done. So now I feel like I'm like blue sky and I can like do all this other crazy stuff and get involved in some other ridiculousness.
Take a deep breath, go outside and see the sun touch the grass.
Yeah.
You're looking at a little pen.
Yeah, I know. This is not that far away from my natural complexion.
Look at an AR filter, slightly gray and whitish, zombie-like. I want to say hello to Pac-Man. Thank you for tuning in all the way from down in Australia. It looks like there, my friend is as well. Craig Coinpurse. I don't know if you know him, but on the same island down there, it looks like, from planting the flag in the Twitter bio there.
Cool. Another convict.
Yeah, another convict. Yes.
Joining us.
For those of you who don't know or have never heard, but that's the settlement where they shipped all the convicts to, and they got in trouble back in the day. And look what it turned into now.
A beautiful mess.
a beautiful mess. End of the World Pizza is minting right now. You can go claim mint. It's on the Twitter handle. It's also at endoftheworldpizza.com. Spelled right out, endoftheworldpizza.com. You can mint a mythic, mint a gold. Gold ones are pretty good. I mean, they're almost 50% sold out.
That's right.
And the mythics are chugging along right as well. So get in there, buy them. It comes with a physical one that will get shipped out. I guess the work never does end.
Distribution is going to happen, but that's easy. We can do that. We're ready for that.
And so get in there, claim them. Thank you for taking me along for the ride within this journey, because it was a pleasure. I also want to thank JR Token, who's going to be listening to this later. He's busy right now, and thank Token for leading me onto this, staying 2 steps ahead and being very approachable. Awesome Discord, awesome fan base as well. So congratulations once again, Rob. Anything else to say to anyone listening out there? Or if you are the winner of OX3CA, and then the last ones are 7B79. You're going to have a free comic book coming your way just for tuning in, claiming a POAP. We will have a POAP in about 18 minutes. And anything else to say, Rob, about the epic journey of End of the World Pizza?
It's great. We're just getting started. Thanks again so much for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. And to the person that wins, you can come on the Discord if you have any questions about how to redeem. We have instructions there on how to redeem, but it's just a web store that you can go to and you connect your wallet once you have the NFT, and it'll give you 100% discount on the comic. So yeah, thanks again for having this giveaway. I'm really happy to be able to give one to the community, and that's about it.
I didn't do anything. I just said broadcasting, and thank you for giving away cool stuff. So, and maybe the winner will come on and talk about it. And when the comic books come here, I can't wait to plug in and play and show you guys what it's all about. But shifting gears a little bit to Craig Coin Purse and how the markets have been changing, and this is all going to kind of relate back, back into the digital collectibles as well, because when the markets start moving like this, then altcoins start moving, and then money starts flowing in. I saw there was a bid on a CryptoPunk Alien at I think like 1,100 ETH wasn't accepted, but this is what we're seeing in the market is once more liquidity flows into the market, especially in areas where there are larger amounts of volume coming in and out, which generally leads to percentages up and down increasing, which lead to storylines. Are you seeing anything different this week compared to last week? Not only in the friend tech markets, but also the uptick in, I think, 100 billion more got added to the overall markets in cryptocurrency or something around that range.
Yeah, this week or the week sort of that was overall markets. I thought it's starting to look a little bit better. You're seeing, I think Chainlink had a good run this last week. So an old school coin or favorite amongst the veterans around here, the Link Marines. There must be a few. I was one of them, but it hurt me too badly. But yeah, the markets are starting to warm up a bit. I think I mentioned that last week. It's looking like a bit more money's flowing. Also, I'm noticing this last sort of week, or at least the last 3 days, shitcoins starting to run again, a lot more than they were. So sort of starts to, there we go. There she is. Thank you, Novo. So that's getting a nice little, wow, not bad, huh? In shitcoin world, you wouldn't celebrate that, but in crypto, that's still phenomenal. And in TradFi, that would be an incredible sort of result. So you sort of got to keep your sanity hat on with some of these. But no, the markets I think are looking good. I do think shitcoins or
I was going to say XRP had some positive news within those ranks, and even to get like 7-8% gains within a week. If probably you didn't buy, no one was probably buying anything in a week, but like, even if you look at a yearly on most charts, I mean, we're up 10, 20, 30% on most charts on the year. So it's just like, what a difference a year makes when you think that you're so down. I mean, look, pretty soon, I mean, you're up 27%, but if you fast forward a week, that's when ETH was down in the thousands and $1,100 range. So like, if you're a buyer, and then, I mean, you're close to you're at 80%, almost doubling your money. So, and that was down there for, that right here on the chart, it says, I think it was November 11th through, December 11th. So a whole month that you're treading in territory is $1,200 for Ethereum. And, you can be making $400 for every Ethereum you had. And that pays dividends to people, including artists who maybe haven't sold their Ethereum back then, and didn't sell when there was blood in the streets. And that's possibly a thing to do, is start buying then.
Yeah, that when Ethereum had that dip down to, did it break below the 1,000? Did it
I
hit
do not
1,100?
think so. $1,100, 11
Yeah.
points, 11 cents.
It's funny when you look back on charts like this, because I remember the moments it was tiptoeing around this line here. And it's funny, the psychology. I remember so many people saying, I'm not going to buy it 1,000, I'm going to buy it 800.
Yeah.
And obviously it didn't tap that. And looking at it now, like you just mentioned, if you'd bought it back then, say 1,100, quite a nice gain, huh? Really?
And that's what it's about. And some of those people might be cashing out and diversifying into other things. And that's what kind of turns into maybe alt spring, maybe next spring. You also have the halvening coming up. So you're going to have less Bitcoin coming in. And then not only that, but like kind of Bitcoin has been out sustaining.
Bitcoin looks good.
I mean, look at the yearly chart on there, and it hasn't even hit the dip yet. I mean,
Yeah.
Bitcoin is at 56%, 57% up this particular year, and give it a week when it's down to $1,700. So I mean, that is almost doubled in price right there, and those gains right there usually flow elsewhere. And
That's right. That's almost a 2x now, isn't it? And if you think about it, if you had a reasonable amount of money you were putting in, shitcoins, I'd never put in a lot, but with something like Bitcoin, if you had put a half decent amount of money in, it doesn't have to be massive, but almost a 2x return, slow and steady like that on a grind up is quite nice. Looking at that chart, it's funny when you go back then. I remember the doom and gloom, and it's even funnier now looking at Bitcoin at this level. People are still really psychologically, I think a lot of people are still quite damaged from the bear, and I suppose myself included to a certain degree. But when you look at that chart, like you've just done, zooming out, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. And I suppose the main lesson for everyone is just keep your emotions in check, stick to the plan. And when you get big downtrends like that, I guess the main lesson to learn is keep a bit of money on the side.
Well, that
was my lesson.
Markets are cyclical. What I'm seeing right here is like, boom, once it's trying to break through 30K. Boom, twice trying to break through 30K. Right now, 3 times trying to break through 30K. And then you look where the floor is, right here, pretty consistent after making the run up. I mean, you could maybe classify this, 25 right there. Then it dips down to right around 25. And then look, it bounces out right around 25. So it's bouncing off the prior ceiling that it had there. So, I mean, it's typical trends that algorithms, that computers are picking up on. And all it is going to take is a little bit of bump. And what happened here in the States is with an XRP is that they had different regulations come in that they're actually not going to be pursued by the SEC for some other blah blah this blah blah that.
Yeah, Brad Garlinghouse, I think the SEC's case against him personally was dropped.
There you go.
So XRP had a massive bump up. I think that was a month ago. There was a court ruling in favor of, not in favor, but that was quite promising for XRP. And then it kind of had a sell-off as well, which is quite clever, is it? Those that were in position prior to the announcement obviously sold off the hype, which is quite smart. So you saw a big retracement on that. XRP I've followed that journey. That's the funny one. Anyone who likes a good conspiracy theory is probably in that coin. The banker's coin, this is going to be the world currency, or, intermediary currency and things like that. I don't know what to make out of all that anymore. I've read so much, but it's got a really interesting history, the way at least American SEC's gone after it. And it kind of makes me wonder why they've aggressively pursued that coin so much.
Because maybe they're threatened or worried about it. I mean,
I suspect as well. Yeah.
And what they're going to label it. I got in I'm pretty sure it was right around this range. It was just before it reached 3 cents, and that was I figured out how to transfer something out of Coinbase and bring it into a MetaMask wallet, and to bring it onto Uniswap, and to trade something out, and I had to teach all myself how to do all that. And the next couple of days later, then it did become available in Coinbase, which was a lot more people can handle because people are just kind of the same thing, trying to get their hands on that smallest denominated coin at the time, like no matter what it was. And that was the cheapest one you can get.
And it did and it pumped to $3 as well. So that was a massive win if you got in at 3 cents. Jeez. Yeah, that's the reason why you're in crypto if you're buying coins, isn't it? That pump right there. Hopefully we get to relive that, and I'm sure we will. It's just a matter of which buckets will fill up like that. But XRP, I think, is one of those coins. It's not a bad idea to have a couple in your back pocket just in case, like, the theories are right. But Bitcoin for me is my go-to, really. But yeah, just to reiterate on the markets, looking pretty good. Like I said, shitcoin's looking good. FinTech's just slow and steady as she goes. I won't go into that too much detail until you're ready to chat FinTech. But yeah, overall market. So even NFTs, I'm seeing on Twitter now, my feed starting to get some good hits from people that I know are quite good at picking NFTs. So it's nice to see a few people getting wins there. So it feels like there's early bull market. Gee, I'm almost scared to say it to jinx us all, but it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. It's starting to feel a little bit like Christmas if you're going to get a bit festive. But yeah, I think no matter if you're in NFTs or in your shitcoins or your stable coins, altcoins, whatever, we could be in for a quite a good 6 months coming up. Maybe end of this year, Q1, Q2 next year should be quite good. There's my posting, Killer Bears. But yeah, I'd love to see NFTs get a bit of a run, and not even necessarily because I hold any. I just like to see artwork come forward a little bit more. But yeah, I think the markets are looking good. FinTech's crabbing sideways. So as far as excitement for FinTech goes, still in that kind of boring accumulation zone where it's just tracking sideways. I've got some numbers here, Novo, when you want me to
spit them out because I read them down here.
Yeah, so just comparing to last week, we're at 43.8 million now in TVL, which prior, I think last week might have been 44.5. So
you're right, it was.
Yeah, so not much change. I mean, there are people, I've got a few messages today asking what I think about the amount of people leaving FinTech to go to other, FinTech competitors and things like that. And so a little bit of, I won't say, people getting scared, but I guess a little bit if I'm getting those messages. But then it's funny when you go to the data and you look at the TVL, or you could call it market cap for those who are more familiar with that terminology, you've got less than a 5% drop. So in fact, it's minute. I had a message before asking me how I was feeling with the defections, and I actually hadn't noticed them. But I think what it was, and you guys will be familiar with this name, Pranksy just dumped his keys. That's caused a ripple effect. So Pranksy dipped out. It might have been today or yesterday. Apparently, I'd actually just caught up with them, and apparently Pranksy's put a tweet out saying he's selling all his keys. He's going over to New Bitcoin City, I think's the name, New Bitcoin City. Yeah, so that's a FinTech fork. Heard good things about it. I don't know if there's an airdrop there or what. Oh yeah, you'll find his tweet here, I suspect. Talking about it, and then basically him just saying, look, if you want to sell me, I'm about to dip out and come and join me over there. I'm not sure what reasons he stated. I know the New Bitcoin City interface is meant to be quite nice, but I don't think that'll be the reason why someone, a lot of the reasons can be if you can get a lot of key holders or followers to the new one, you're obviously going to use you're going to get the revenue share.
Yeah, you're going to be the alpha on the top, right in the beginning of it.
So it's like me. You'll see sometimes big accounts cause pump and dumps on their own name. So it'd be the same as me now. Say I sit at about 0.2, so I get about 0.02 Ethereum for every sale at the moment. It's like me jumping on. It's like me jumping on and making a really bearish statement. All my holders sell. I've got, say, 50 holders. I get a clip of all the 50 holders that sell. Then I come back 2 weeks later, a week later, and say, hey, great news, guys. I'm back and I'm better than ever. And mental health break went fantastic. And then they rebuy and I get a second bite at it. Now, imagine if you're someone like Pranksy or someone who gets half an ETH per sale, then, and I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but certainly in other cases, I've noticed some people kind of almost deliberately putting out bearish news. They have a sell-off, they obviously make a bit of money, and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, they actually come back after a bit of the classic health break sort of thing. So, there's a bit of that going on with FriendTech at the moment. Like I mentioned to you, I think maybe 2 weeks ago when I suspected it was going to start crabbing sideways until the 20th of next month where the Blur season 2 ends. I said it's going to get boring. It's going to go sideways. That's normally where people kind of freak out, especially when they get bored. Humans in crypto, or humans in general, get bored easily, let alone crypto. You know what I mean? A week is humongous in crypto, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're sort of at about week 3 of the sideways crab now. So now I think psychologically for me personally, I think this is where people are going to be like chasing that shiny new thing where, the TVL is going that way.
And that's going to pan out too. That's just going to go sideways as well, just like anything else. So with that, and the people that have gone down, like there was probably a lot of people who front loaded bots or had multiple accounts. So like those, like once one leaves, it's like 3 or 5 leave because that's just the analytics of it. But what it does is it strengthens the people who stay.
That's right.
Who stay. It's a down point now, which is an accumulation in a factor, in a sense. And there are evolutionary stages, but it's generally the ones who have start off first, which will reap the rewards. Not only that, coming back to the long play at the first of the year with maybe a little bit larger of an airdrop. I mean, maybe everyone will be doing backflips.
Yeah, the thing is, if you've got, like I said last time, if you've got Paradigm, which was the big investor in Blur, they're also backing FriendTech. So you've got quite a big investor there that I think regardless of what you feel about them as a company, certainly with the Blur airdrop that happened the first time, even I made a bit of money on that. So sort of shows you that Paradigm, they'll hype the shit out of this. You know what I mean? They'll hype this. It's for me personally. I think that there'll be fireworks, and because they're the major investor in Blur, that was a cool day. I went out with my son to the Monster Trucks, Monster Jam.
Did you have headphones? I mean, those things are loud.
Yeah, we did. My friggin' ones kept falling out. I had earplugs. My son did. He had headphones. I had earplugs at first. So I just copped it, but I'm friggin' deaf anyway these days for music. Yeah, that was cool. Hey, the Megalodon. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But I think what you're finding at the moment on Blur as well, FriendTech, you've got 2 different kinds of people there. You've got the farmers, and you've got a few. You've got your creators, you've got your farmers, and you've got your flippers. Now, at the moment, with FriendTech crabbing sideways, your flippers aren't eating. You know what I mean? It's in fact, key prices are slightly going down. So for the flippers out there, which would be me typically in NFTs and things like this, I'd be looking for greener pastures as well at the moment. Go over to the new shiny thing, flip your way up. And I think what you'll find is a rotation of capital will come back to FriendTech in a little bit closer to the 20th of next month when the Blur farmer should enter. And just to dovetail at that point, one of the big Blur farmers, the biggest Blur farmer, Hanwei, he put out a tweet, actually a message in his room, just kind of saying to people, he's staying with FriendTech. He's going to continue to farm there. He's not going over to any forks. And his focus is with FriendTech. So, farmers, I think, will continue to grind on FriendTech, and flippers will go over to the new thing to try and turn 1 ETH into 3 or 4, bring it back to FriendTech, get in position prior to the 20th. And then on the 20th, approximately, give or take, is when you'll see the TVL and FriendTech take off. And then you'll have your flippers there as well. So I think you'll find closer to that point, there could be quite a massive rally because you've got quite a few catalysts. You've got farmers who could bring more liquidity. And then flippers.
Ping ponging the liquidity off of it, both pools, because they know how to do it from one. They're going to try to master it in the other.
That's right.
Do the same following things until the algorithms change due to what you can and can't trade, or who you can and can't trade with, what bots can and can't survive, whatever analytics that they have that they can make the adjustments. But yeah, I mean, I view it almost as like Friend.tech is the Bitcoin, for lack of a better term, where others are maybe Ethereum or altcoins after that, because they're subsurfaced off of a main brand and main connective tissue. And I think that connective tissue in the beginning will be large. A POAP, there's actually a POAP time. If you want to go in your POAP and type in the claim code COIN with a capital C, after our friend here, Craig's Coin Purse, capital COIN, you can claim a POAP. Do that now. Claim that POAP. As you can see, last week, a POAP got you a free comic book if you listen to the last 2 weeks. I don't know what utility this one has, but wanted to give it out to Craig Coin Purse. So the claim code in there, the secret password is COIN. If go to POAP, you can just type in with a capital COIN and get one of those POAPs, or you can just DM me. I'll send you a clickable link as well. Thank you for listening. For all those of you down there, we're on with Craig's Coin Purse. You can see him up top. He is muted, but you can also watch us viewing live on his Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is also on YouTube and on Twitch as well. You can watch actually exactly what we're talking about, thumbing through charts on CoinMarketCap, thumbing through his Twitter handle, and diving into not only Friend.tech, but just market flow and where this liquidity is flowing, where to hop in next, what's the next play. So it kind of seems like you're catching me up from last week, which I appreciate because I haven't had time to. Kind of here's like the current play is a possible new platform that's building some liquidity in it, but also playing that back towards the 20th of next month where the airdrop will take place. Now, what does that airdrop typically look like for maybe a beginning user who maybe doesn't have a lot of keys bought, someone in the mid range, which I'll consider yourself, and someone who's like on the high range where they're like playing this like a deck of cards?
What does the airdrop look like as far as what I think the numbers will be?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. So maybe for a mid ranger like me, I think just looking at my numbers, I'm on about so it goes by points every Friday. The snapshot, every Thursday night, Friday, the points are dropped. I'm sitting at about 2,100 points. So I get about 400 to 500 a week. And from what
I only got 33 points. I got to start getting in after this. How do you gain points then?
Yeah, so it's predominantly based on portfolio value, and then also there's weightings on activity as far as when you write how often you write, when you last wrote, and then this last drop, what they did that to kind of change it up was there was a weighting in regards to whether your inflow was positive versus your outflow. So they rewarded those that brought money into the ecosystem this last week quite heavily. So I actually didn't do as well this last week because I didn't bring much in, because I'd already I had my position, and the way that I saw crabbing sideways myself personally, I was like, I don't really want to inject more in right now. I'm kind of where I want to be, but a nice move by the team, I think, to reward those who had the balls to put a bit more in.
All right, well then here you go. That's why I have my invite codes live action. Like, should I not be showing that? But there it is. Invite codes live action. Bringing more liquidity in there. There's a whole bunch of invite codes. You can watch them up at the top. You need an invite code to get into Friend.tech. You can watch that up top. JR Token, thank you for listening. I hope all is doing well. We gave away a comic book at the beginning of the show, so you can rewind back to the beginning of this show, and it shows the comic book that we spun and won. to give out. You can claim a POAP right now by typing in coin with a capital C, and talking next step, technology and connectivity with Friend Tech and Friend Tech, friend and investor extraordinaire Craig from Craig's Coin Purse, which you can watch live up top. So what is the next week going to bring, just in general market flow, you think? I believe, just kind of going back to the normal charts, is more talk is going to be coming into it. And also, somewhat unfortunately, when there are tough times geopolitically with wars on the forefront, sometimes money gets changed into cryptocurrency. And I think possibly what's unfolding in the Middle East could have more funds being diversified into cryptocurrency out of perhaps other means of banking systems that might be tied up in the Middle East. None of that is financial advice, but that's just what I've seen in prior times when people have been displaced. And you have to maybe change your currency because you're changing over borders, and we're having hundreds of thousands of people being displaced, people banking systems being uprooted. So what do you do with that currency currently? And sometimes the safest bet is to drop it into cryptocurrency. And if you did that a month ago on Bitcoin, you'd be up 14%. If you did it a year ago with Bitcoin, you'd be up 58%. But that's just Bitcoin, and that's just here nor there. What do you think, Craig? What are your thoughts on all this?
It's an interesting time at the moment. Also, last week, Bitcoin had that nice little uptick there. It was, I don't know if it was 2-3 days ago, JP Morgan put out a statement or a comment mentioning that they suspect the SEC will approve the Bitcoin spot ETF within the next 2 months. And that was coming a week after that Cointelegraph intern put that tweet out saying it had been approved. So it was kind of funny. That accidental tweet went out a week ago, and I said to you, I feel like it's kind of predictive programming. And then JP Morgan, within a week as well, has then come out and said, we suspect it'll be out in 2 months. Approved. So it's a tricky one to pick, because I almost feel like with JP Morgan's announcements, I almost want to counter trade normally, because they've been so bearish on Bitcoin over the years. But now I sort of wonder if they're starting to put this out in the news, so when it happens, they don't look like they were wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's almost
they're front loading it a little bit. They're softening the news, the impact.
Yeah. Like a year ago, 2 years ago, they were saying, hell no, get out of there. And then, fast forward a year or two, they're like, it looks fantastic. It's like, wow. So no, I mean, look, just those comments alone by them, regardless of where the market goes, are good. Because when you get a big player in the market like that saying that, then I guess a lot of others feel comfortable having that sort of conversation in the big sort of institutional TradFi world. Where do I see the market going from here? I think it just continues up. I think there'll be turbulence, and I think there's going to be dips. And just like always, you could bring up any chart, and you'll see there's definitely points in any chart where people would have lost a bit of money. But if you can just hang in there, it tends to just trend upwards over time. So I think the markets are looking good. I mean, just looking back on that Bitcoin chart, you don't have to go back. Well, you go back a year and it was 17,000. So,
I just want to thank. I mean, man, we had 19 people claim the POAP for tonight's show. Thank you guys.
That's great.
That's pretty dope. There again, coin, capital COIN. Type that in. Props, man. Thanks. But yeah, we can't go back to that Bitcoin chart right there. I mean, just look at it right there. I mean, and one thing that I've always been somewhat of a thought in it is, what computers do to read all these things. And in a couple days here, once we get into November, first week in November is when Bitcoin was dipping down to the $1,500 range, $15,000 range. Mm-hmm. And that will show like different increases. And now you're looking at, people, oh, well, all of a sudden Bitcoin has doubled in the last year. And though that positive news run is going to make more people FOMO, want to buy more when you really should have bought a year ago, and
that's exactly right. And that's when you're going to see a bull run kick in, when you see that with that's, I know, a bull run's coming when I'm getting text messages from friends that I haven't heard from in a year or two, which funny enough started happening about 2 months ago. I was starting to get, I haven't had messages in probably 2 years, apart from, why the fuck did you tell me to buy this?
So that's like the barometer now. And then the next thing is friends and family or more direct family members, grandma and grandpa, like asking, like, how do I buy this again?
That's right.
I guess the question is, I don't have bags of ETH falling out of my pockets, to say the least. But like, are you selling on the way up? Are you riding the wave on the way up? Or are you, what are your thoughts? Because it goes up, but like, it comes down. Sometimes the waves are coming down 90%, hopefully it's not, hopefully you got caught with like 70, 80%, but if you don't sell, you're not really losing,
Yeah, I think that comes down to what your investment strategy is. Whether you want to be more of a swing trader. So what I mean by that is you're buying the lows, selling the highs, and just play between the levels. That can be a good way to increase your bag or increase your Bitcoin, but it can be quite stressful and emotionally draining. And, you can get losses and that can sting. That's the way I traded last bull market. I was swing trading it. But it is stressful, and I was doing it full time. So, for someone doing it part time, maybe that would be a better thing because you're not so hands on, but it can be quite stressful. So I dare say for most people out there, actually I'll go back to it. It depends what they want. It depends whether they want to invest in something like Bitcoin and say to themselves, right, this is just a savings account. I'm going to put a little bit in there, and over the years, just dollar cost average and just accrue more and more and more. And then after a decade, it should be, it's a hedge against inflation.
Yeah.
Or whether you're trying to swing trade it to earn money to then either invest more or use that money to increase the quality of your life at that time or near future. So I'm a bit of both. In fact, the way I look at it is I've got my big pot, which is for the future or my retirement, and then my smaller bags, which I use to kind of swing trade to make the main pot bigger, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, just for safety.
I view it almost as like this is like almost playing with house money a little bit. Like, all right, you have your, what you're set aside, put a little store away. And then you have that thing of like, hey, maybe this is worth, maybe this, I can double up here. Maybe this is going to do this. And that's what we're going to see in these types of situations is, Bitcoin's going up 2-3% a day. Up this week, it's up 12%, today it's up 1.5%, but all of a sudden you look back and monthly it's up 15-20%. Where are you going to find those type of dividends anywhere else? You're not going to find that. You're not going to find those gains anywhere else. No. Especially right now, stock market, things are kind of getting a little uneasy and actually more of a sell-off right towards the end of the year here. Want to say what's up to Corey. What's going on, my friend? I hope everything is doing well. JOC. Talking with Craig Coinpurse. Excited about seeing the pump in the markets, this overall direction of what's going on. Wanted to touch base to see what was going on with Friend Tech, which is crabbing sideways. All right. I feel it's just weeding out the people who maybe had fake accounts or trying to find a way to work the system. They're going to go work the system somewhere else, but the foundational members of that concentration is still concentrated there. You can tell they're still gaining Twitter followers. I've been tracking that for the last month. Once you see more within the overall market cap, within the overall structure of cryptocurrency, I feel that more will come into this way in space with that, more can come to you. You can claim that POAP right now. You can claim it by hitting that mint button on POAP. You can enter in the code, or the secret word rather, and that secret word is coin with a capital C, and that's an O and an I and an N, but just a capital C there, in honor of Craig Coin Purse. And I'm glad that you're able to stick on and talk about what's happening in this in these markets, because it's important to at least know the foundation. These are foundational steps that will tell you what the shit coins are going to do, the altcoins are going to do, the NFTs are going to do, Web3 in general. I know a lot of people are building out there. Got some shoes this week from Artifact, and maybe that's what we'll talk about next week, is some Artifact shoes that got delivered to my house.
Cool.
Nike Swoosh has digital collectibles out there as well with a new shoe. I think they're Air Force Ones, Tygas,
Cool.
and other things. So maybe we'll talk some shoes next week. But I think we're going to wind it down here, my friend, unless there's anything else you want to add.
I just wanted to, did you see that, this is a CryptoPunk, so I thought this would be relevant to you. Did you see someone managed to scoop up that CryptoPunk with the clown nose, and they flipped it the same day for about an 8 ETH profit or something?
Wow, an 8 ETH profit. And that's what it was back in the day, where you're able to flip CryptoPunks and make 2-3 ETH here or there just by attribute class. Pulling it from a wallet somewhere else and, selling it for that. But I mean, think of that. I mean, you said an 8 ETH profit in there, huh?
Might have been less. I could be,
times that by $1,700 and bada boom, bada bing. I mean, those were the days for me, my friend.
Yeah, I saw that number and I thought, whoa, that reminds me of the good old days. Maybe we're
I remember flipping CryptoPunks, but making like $40-$50 off of it, because I'd buy them for like $300-$400 and sell them for like $500-$600. And
that's crazy, eh?
I just made $200 this week off of a CryptoPunk. This is awesome, and
I remember the feeling. It was the same with Top Shot. I was in that quite early, and it was a cool time, wasn't it? It was a cool learning experience, and I look forward to it coming back, because it was fun, man. It was fun.
Well, I'm going to be building some stuff. I had some really cool people reach out to me. SaveNovo.com is open source now, so people wanted to see what they wanted to do with that. I've had some people who build on Bitcoin artists reach out to me, which I've never really touched or tapped. Speaking of touching or tapping, is CryptoPunk toy, Crypto Novo toy. Hopefully we can tap the top of the toy and open up that NFC technology to buy different trinkets based on Crypto Novo. So I'm working hard, because I think that's what I'm going to try to do in this space, is to capture that liquidity of people trying to support Crypto Novo and broadcasting live and bringing good hope and getting out to IRL events. And, and I just want to keep my ear to the ground. So I appreciate it. Definitely welcome back next Sunday, which will be maybe we'll have a Halloween show.
Great.
Check the markets again. I know a couple people are taking a couple weekends off, and if anyone wants to come on the show and talk about what they have going on, maybe we can have JOC come on and do some live rapping if he doesn't have a show this Halloween weekend. So
cool.
With that being told, thanks again. I want to say to all the aliens, apes, and zombies out there, stay positive and love life. Peace.
Guys. Cheers, guys. Bye.
I don't have any outro music, but we'll think of it in your head. End the stream here and click that button there.